So, NEOGENESIS no more.
No, can't believe it.
Wah, wah, wah.
But the channel is not dead.
No, and it's far from dead. We're making videos all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, JTMC Gaming is the name. And until further notice, it's not going to change.
Nope.
So we hope that it stays that way so we can keep it consistent with you guys. So NEOGENESIS, no. But if you want to check out those videos, they're pretty cool.
Yep.
So again, we are JTMC Gaming. I'm Justin.
And I'm Mike.
We're excited to see you for new videos. Hi, welcome back. We are changing our name to JTMC Gaming. And welcome back to our channel.
Hi.
This is Mike. My name is Justin. Today we are going to be talking about space games.
And our favorite space games.
Yes, and I know that me personally, I love whenever you get out into space and video games. We wanted to show you some of our favorite science fiction / space games today. Let's take a look.
So what do you look for when you're playing a space game? Like, what are some of your memorable titles?
Oh, well, there's so many. I mean, if, we're talking retro games, I mean, there's a lot of, really old schools, Sega and Nintendo games that focus around space. But I look for a lot of more open world type of games. When you're looking at space, space is so vast. And, when I get into a game, I really love getting into that open world. What about you?
I'm the same way. Like, space has evolved from, retro games. You had your quintessential shoot 'em ups. Games like Gradius,
Thunder Force 4.
Yeah. Star Fox, for example. But they kind of all fit in that category of just rail shooters and shoot 'em ups. But when you're talking about open world games, I like the fact that you can explore the environment, explore like what space has to offer.
Yes.
And for me, honestly, Mass Effect.
Oh, awesome series.
On the 360. I think that answers your question on open world space. It has the RPG elements, you have a party, you're always outfitting your character, you're creating your character, but what really sold me was the fact that you could travel to different worlds in different systems. And that was so surreal, and I think with Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, they took it to a whole new level with traveling, and it just it expands the story, it showcases the technology and the wonder of such a great series, and that was one of my favorites when we talk about space.
So, Mike, Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3? If you could only pick one.
If I only had to pick one, 2. Mass Effect 2 was my favorite. I really liked the storyline. It got darker real quick. Not trying to spoil it, but you get to see some really cool parts of the galaxy with this game. This is one of my favorites in the franchise. What about you?
Alright, so for me, I'm going to pull out an Xbox classic that I'm sure everybody will know, but I want to show my love for these two games, and my two from the Xbox would be Halo 1 and Halo 2.
Ooh.
So, a lot has already been said about Halo and, what Halo is. You have the campaign aspect of Halo, along with the, introducing one of the earlier versions of a multiplayer first-person shooter. This was made by Bungie, which, I know Mike is a big-time Destiny 2 fan. They are the same company as Halo, and not a lot of people know that. But Halo 2 would probably be my pick if I was going to choose between Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, just because, I think that they fleshed out a lot of the things that people didn't like about Halo 1 and Halo 2, and it really hits its stride here. I know when I was, a kid, there was such hype for this Halo 2 when it came out in November. And, everybody was hyped to see what it had to offer, and when it finally landed, it did not disappoint.
Those dual-wielding SMGs.
Some people like them, some people don't. For me, that just adds fun to the game.
One of for talking about space games, one of my favorite on the Nintendo franchise will always be the Metroid series.
Oh.
And, if you're talking about space games, then I'm going to have to go with the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii. Metroid Prime, when it came out on the GameCube, just blew me away with the graphics, the visuals.
It's on another level.
I just like the fact that, certain elements, you could see Samus through her visor, and, the whole thing with the first-person aspect where her visor fogs up if you walk in steam, or if you're in, a rainstorm, you can see the droplets fall. That blew me away in terms of realism, but on the Wii, this is the only one where you can play Metroid Prime 1 and 2 with the Wii motion controls. It just adds to the experience. Great one on the Nintendo system.
Yes, and I have it for the GameCube. I'm still looking for the one on the Wii, but great game.
Good if you can find this.
Yes. Hard to find?
I think so.
Okay. Good. Alright, so last but not least for me, I'm going to pull out a controversial title. It did not receive the greatest praise upon release. However, this game has actually, gone further and further into the category would be like a masterpiece for me, simply because the developers have not given up on it yet, and they continue to add to the experience. And that game I'm talking about is No Man's Sky.
It's interesting that you bring up No Man's Sky, because I was somebody that I read about the game, I was hopeful, but then there was a lot of negative reviews and criticisms that surrounded the game. And I watched the YouTube videos, and I was a little bit blown away on the fact that you could travel anywhere, it's all randomly generated, but I never played it because of the reviews and critics that talked about the game. So
now it's funny that you're talking about No Man's Sky like this. I think the game was very misunderstood upon release. I view this game similar to an open sandbox experience, maybe you could even argue with Minecraft. With Minecraft, you have that procedurally generated world, and it's your job to simply explore. And, a lot of people, when this first came out, it did not have a lot of content. The animals were not very fleshed out. There were a lot of glitches, a lot of issues with the game, and I was unhappy with it myself, and disappointed. But as years have gone on, they've added so many things, from base building to vehicles. They've added, additional support for more diverse environments. They've continued to enhance the procedurally generated worlds. They also have, you can now do online multiplayer where you can get on a world together, and, not to mention VR as well. Which I think, when you talk about being in space with a VR headset and your own ship to command, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up the VR, because I have a VR and I'm interested in trying it out. What I didn't bring with me is the game Farpoint on PlayStation VR. Talk about space game.
Yes.
That is a fun experience. It was the main reason why I bought the PS Aim controller. Just
such an interesting controller.
I mean, when you play, it feels like you're playing Starship Troopers almost, with the alien bugs, and just how you have to survive and shoot. Surreal experience, but one of my first major space games that I picked up on the 360 that reminded me a lot about Starship Troopers, Lost Planet. It's exactly like Starship Troopers on a frozen world. Basically, frozen planet. You're trying to colonize it. Your main character has amnesia, which adds to the story. But it's just it has a Star Wars Battlefront type feel to it. And we're talking old school Star Wars Battlefront. But you can explore, you can grapple, you can survive, and you have to collect thermal energy to keep yourself warm from the frigid environment. But, that's not my favorite. That's not my all-time favorite space game.
I know, and we're coming back. Let me throw in one honorable mention before Mike goes to his finale of his games. I have to mention a couple that I don't have, but I would like to have. Dead Space 1 and 2. Great horror games, you know, in the space environment. It kind of almost gives me that Alien vibe. We're talking about the Alien movie, where you have a lot of suspense, you know, you have a lot of crazy creatures to destroy. It's a great space game. Highly recommend it.
Alrighty. Well, I know you're in for a real treat. And you can't talk about space games unless you're talking about a pure real-time strategy game set in space, and you're in charge of the fleet. And I'm talking about my big box PC collection of Homeworld. You can hold this one.
I absolutely love these games growing up.
The Homeworld franchise, I remember I had a demo of Homeworld 1, and I just really enjoyed it. And when I found out, I think it was at like Comp USA, they had this on sale. I asked my dad to buy it for our PC, and this just blew me away. The fact that you can control ships in space, and you know, truly this is the best real-time space aspect. And you can't talk about a space game unless you're traveling space. Mm-hmm. And the multiplayer is hilarious. Because you can hyperspace jump around and play other people online, or just play the computer if you're interested. But you gotta harvest resources, you gotta man your resources properly, build your ships, and explore the galaxy. And I thought
this was a great story too.
Really good story. It's a good, like, you gotta go home.
Yes.
You know, good far from home. Homeworld 2, excellent game. For me, incredibly difficult.
Yes.
Like,
not easy to complete.
Not easy, and these games are not easy, you know, to say the least. They're very hard, and for
yes.
big box PC games, they come packed with strategy guides.
Yes, medium to intermediate to advanced players only.
Right, but you know, I'll tell you what. If you're looking at, you know, picking up Homeworld, you know, you can get Homeworld Remastered on Steam really cheap. I highly recommend it. They also include the original. I think they include the original versions of the game when you buy the Remastered edition on Steam. But if you have a PC, find Cataclysm. I really love this game. Excellent replayability. It's not hard. Truly, I think the graphics are a step up from Homeworld 1, almost on Homeworld 2 level, but this one was just really fun with the storyline.
Good entry-level Homeworld game.
Yeah. Even though this takes place after Homeworld 1. But again, it's really good. So, can't talk about space unless you got big box PC games from Sierra.
From Sierra.
From Sierra. Well, those are just some of our favorite games that we think of when we're talking about space.
Yeah, and please leave a comment, like, subscribe to our videos. Let us know, what space games do you like? I know that we've left some out. You might have some different opinions for us, and that's okay. You know, we're trying to build a community where we can have a good discussion about what we like and what you like, so that we can share our passion for games for you.
Agreed.
And again, my name is Justin.
And I'm Mike.
Thanks for tuning in.